Hey,
What, Sarah?
this is a spaceship from Star Wars.
This is a spaceship from Star Wars?
Yeah,
No,
looks
Sarah.
like.
That's it looks like, I agree. But this is actually a real plane. It's a real
No.
bomber. The American military have a bunch of those. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I have a video about that if you want to watch.
Yes,
Let's go. The title of the video goes The Insane Engineering of the B-2 Bomber. Sarah, say hello to our friends.
Hi, guys.
Our friends, thank you so much for all the support. We really appreciate that. That said, Sarah, ask them for the most important thing.
Guys, leave a like, thumbs up.
And if they subscribe,
You make our day.
damn right. Link below for the original video. Actually, one more thing. You can hype a video nowadays. Please do it. Let's go.
In the dead of night, a whisper
man.
slices through the air. Unseen and unheard, it penetrates the world's most sophisticated air defenses. This phantom
design
can
is
deliver
so
a payload powerful enough
The design is not cool, Sarah. This is alien technology.
Yes,
this
it is.
something that even in Star Wars, this would be too advanced. If you know what I mean? They are going too far with this. This is no, I'm joking a bit. This is the craziest plane ever, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
My favorite so far.
Your favorite? Okay. But this was developed, I believe, in the 70s or 80s.
How crazy is that?
That makes no sense. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't understand that also.
to alter the course of history, yet
I
remain as
didn't
elusive
know
as a
that.
That can drop so many bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they call the name is B-2 bomber. So, but I didn't know that could carry so many of them.
payload powerful enough to alter the course of history, yet remain
Holy.
as elusive as a shadow. At $2 billion per aircraft,
$2
it's the most
billion?
expensive plane
Sarah, this is an expensive toy. I mean, you know.
Okay.
No, I mean this is now being serious. This is the best bomber in the world, I believe, or very close. He's the best bomber for sure.
I had no idea that it was so expensive
Oh,
to
yeah.
build
Yeah, no, this
this
technology.
type of technology. Yeah.
Stealth technology is insane expensive, from what I understand. And yeah, this is one of the most important things in the American military. You know,
Yeah, I can see.
this bomber is very important.
ever built. How does a 50-meter wide giant become invisible to radar? And why does it look like it flew straight out of a sci-fi movie? Hey,
The thing is, this is huge. This is bigger than, for example, F-16 or F-22. This is bigger. It's really giant. You know?
I tried to imagine,
Yeah.
but
No,
And-
it's something that it's crazy. It's basically crazy.
yeah.
I'm your host Regis, and today we're diving into the secrets of the B-2 Spirit, the stealth
All
bomber
right.
that revolutionized aerial warfare. From its Cold War origins to its cutting-edge technology, we'll discover how this ghostly giant
See, I know this may be a cartoon, of course, but take a look at the comparison. It's much bigger than the other jets. You know?
Okay.
changed the game of global security.
No, this one is easy.
The year is 1975. The Cold War is at its frostiest, and the game of nuclear chess between the United States and the Soviet Union is reaching a critical point. Picture this: squadrons of massive B-52 bombers poised on alert at strategic air bases, each loaded with enough firepower to level entire cities. These massive aircraft were constantly kept flying or on high alert, ready to get airborne at a moment's notice, forming a critical part of America's nuclear deterrent. Flying out of Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas, the routes varied by year, but in general, there were routes that went to positions over the Canadian Arctic, Alaska, Greenland, and the Mediterranean Sea. But there's a problem. The Soviets have been busy. They've developed air defense systems so advanced that they could swap these flying fortresses out of the sky like flies. As one Air Force general put it,
That's a
sending
problem.
B-52s into Soviet airspace would be like throwing a rock at a hornet's nest while wearing a bright red target on your chest.
Okay, not safe at all.
So what do you do when your unstoppable force is starting to encounter an immovable object in the form of an even stronger defense? You change the game entirely. Enter the Advanced Technology Bomber Program, or ATB. The goal? Create a bomber that could slip past Soviet defenses like a ghost, delivering its payload before the enemy even knew it was there. It was
Oh, so I didn't know. So maybe the Cold War made America develop stealth technology. Could be that,
yeah.
right? Because even they also had other jets around this time that are kind of stealth, I believe, but I'm not sure. I mean,
Kind of like trying to build an invisible elephant, a seemingly impossible task that had engineers scratching their heads. But this wasn't just about maintaining military superiority. It was about preserving the delicate balance of power that kept the Cold War from turning hot. You see, the whole concept of nuclear deterrence relied on the ability to strike back if attacked. If the Soviets thought that they could neutralize America's bomber fleet, the risk of a first strike increased dramatically. Now, little did anyone know, the solution to this problem had actually already been dreamed up decades earlier, and then quite literally smashed to pieces. Let's rewind the clock back to 1946. World War II has just ended, and while most of America is focused on building cars and suburban houses, one man is obsessed with a different kind of construction. His name, Jack Northrup, and his vision, the flying wing. Imagine an aircraft that's all wing. No fuselage, no tail, just one sweeping aerodynamic shape. It looked like something out of a sci-fi magazine, but Northrup was convinced it was the future of aviation. In 1947, Northrup's dream actually took flight in the form of the YB-49, a massive jet-powered flying wing with a 50-meter wingspan. It was very ahead of its time, but there was a problem. Without modern computers to help control it, the YB-49 was about as stable as a unicycle on a tightrope. The Air Force wasn't impressed, and in a decision that must have felt like a gut punch to Northrup, they ordered all YB-49s destroyed in 1949. Yeah, you heard me right. These flying wings were all destroyed, which gives you an insight into the
they are unstable, basically.
Okay.
aggressive research and development approach of the United States Department of Defense. But here's where things get interesting. Let's fast forward again back to 1978. The Air Force initiates the ATB program, looking for a bomber that can penetrate the most heavily defended airspace undetected. And who wins the contract? Well, none other than Northrop Corporation. It's like the flying wing rose from the ashes, ready for its second act. This time armed with decades of technological advancement and a blank check from the US government, Northrop was poised to turn the impossible into reality. But how exactly do you make a 100-ton aircraft with a wingspan that's as wide as a football field invisible to radar? Well, that's where things get really interesting.
You know what? It's crazy that we are learning the history, the lore around the B-2 bomber.
It is interesting.
I had no idea about this, honestly. Really, really cool video. Again, my friends, link for the original video below if you want to show some love to the original creator. So far, this great explanation.
Yeah.
Okay, first things first, we have got to talk about that iconic shape. The B-2 looks like it flew straight out of a sci-fi movie, and there's good reason for that. The B-2s are Jack Northrup's flying wing concept from the 1940s cranked up to 11. But this isn't just about looking cool. Every curve and angle of this bad boy serves a purpose. You see, unlike conventional aircraft with their distinct fuselages and tails, the B-2 is essentially one continuous wing. This shape does two crucial things. It gives the B-2 an incredibly low radar cross-section, that's stealth speak for really hard to spot, and it also provides excellent aerodynamic efficiency, crucial for an aircraft designed to fly halfway around the world without breaking a sweat. Now, let's zoom in on the B-2's materials that give it its stealth capabilities. The real magic happens on the surface. The B-2 skin is coated with top-secret radar-absorbent materials. These aren't your average paints. They're specially designed to absorb radar energy rather than reflect it. It's kind of like the B-2 is wearing an invisibility cloak. A cloak
This is a great explanation, actually.
made of materials so classified, I'd probably disappear if I told you about them. As you can see in this radar cross-section diagram, even the way the B-2 is built contributes to its stealthiness. The aircraft's skin is made up of large, smooth panels with minimal seams, because every edge, every corner, every tiny imperfection could potentially reflect radar waves. Think of the B-2's exterior like a sleek sports car. No rough edges, no sharp corners. Just, if that sports car was the size of a warehouse and tried really hard to avoid getting spotted by speeding cameras.
So, but the thing is, if they had this back in the day, I know they do a lot of updates on the B2 bomber. So the B2 bomber now is not the same as it was back in the day. I think it's much better, of course. But if they did this back in the day, they for sure have something quite more advanced now.
No, yeah.
They just don't share, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard to believe that they
Yeah.
don't have
No, they have-
nothing better
they
than
have-
this. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, my friend, but I had to stop the video. I was looking at my statistics on YouTube, and guess what? Most of my viewers are not subscribers. How the hell is that possible? Please consider to do it if you are one of those. That said, we are not done. Another thing, if you can follow me on social media, links below. That would mean the world to me. You make my day, as you are aware. There is also a Patreon link below, and you may find some country music reactions. Take a look. You can join for free, actually. That said, let's continue with this.
You know what? The thing is, this may be the best. Not maybe, sorry, I should not be saying this. This is still the best bomber. You know, Russia and China have nothing close to this one. So it's kind of like, why are they going to do another one, show another one, if they are so advanced, even with a older one? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you tried to say.
Yeah, that's why the American military is so special, because they are 20 years into the future. It's absurd, honestly.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's where things get really tricky. As we already mentioned, flying wings are not very stable. Without a tail, they tend to yaw and pitch, which basically means they just kind of tilt to the sides. To solve this, the B-2 used a fly-by-wire system, which is so advanced that it's the literal definition of top secret. This computer-controlled system makes constant adjustments to the aircraft's control surfaces, keeping it stable in flight. It's so sophisticated that the B-2 can pull off maneuvers that would be unthinkable for a plane this size. Imagine you're a radar operator and suddenly your screen just goes blank. Well, that's the Spirit in action. The B-2 packs 4 General Electric F-118 GE100 turbofans, but good luck spotting them. These things are buried deep within the aircraft's body, with the intakes cleverly hidden on top of the wing. Why? Well, because nothing says, hey, I'm a plane, quite like a radar beam bouncing off a shiny engine fan blade. The exhaust is cooled and spread over a wide area at the rear of the aircraft, minimizing its infrared signature. It's kind of like the B-2 is tiptoeing through the sky, trying not to leave any footprints. The airframe is made.
You know what? The other day I was watching a video about the B2 bomber. I have to admit, I like this type of content. And someone said in the comment section that if you see the B2 bomber, if you see it, you are not the target. Because the target, they don't see it.
Okay, good point. Okay.
primarily of carbon graphite composite materials. Lightweight, strong, and about as radar transparent as you can get without being physically invisible. The aircraft was built in separate sections, then assembled with the precision of a Swiss watchmaker. One tiny misalignment and boom, suddenly you've got a multi-billion-dollar radar reflector instead of a stealth bomber. When the B-2 was finally unveiled on November 22nd, 1988, it was kind of like showing the world a glimpse of the future. As it rolled out of its hangar, you can almost hear the collective jaws hitting the floor. This was an aircraft that looked like it had been beamed down from a sci-fi movie, ready to rewrite the rules of aerial warfare. The technological array packed into this flying wonder was nothing short of awe-inspiring. With over 130 onboard computers controlling every element of the aircraft, the B-2 wasn't just ahead of its time, it was in a time of its own. It combined a variety of techniques to achieve its near invisibility. Its shape confused radar, its materials absorbed radar energy, and its electronic countermeasures jammed enemy detection systems. This graph dramatically illustrates the B-2's radar signature compared to conventional aircraft. The result? An aircraft with a radar cross-section 1,000 times smaller than that of the B-52, which on a radar screen would be kind of like trying to spot a pigeon. When the B-2 made its maiden flight on July 17, 1989, it proved that all this fancy engineering wasn't just theoretical. This thing could fly, and fly well. It was the culmination of decades of work, from Jack Northrup's early experiments to the cutting-edge technology of the 1980s. The B-2 Spirit wasn't just a new aircraft. It was a revolution in aviation, a flying testament to human ingenuity and perseverance.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the perfect word for this one. I think a lot of people, at least here in our country, I saw people talking about this this plane because of the Iran situation, since they end up using them. Because even though this is an old plane, people that don't follow military stuff sometimes don't even know this type of stuff is a thing. It's kind of crazy to see people seeing the B-2 bomber for the first time because it's the thing is, I understand that the F-35 is amazing, the F-22 is amazing, but is the shape of this one is what is
The
very
design.
the design is very
What
weird.
he can do.
What he can do, of course. I also had that. I also felt that when we end up watching the Blackbird. That one is
Right.
also very weird. I have to admit. But this feeling that I have with the B-2 bomber, it's really does look like some type of technology that we should not own, but it's a thing. You know what I mean?
Now, let's talk about the capabilities and performance that this beast has. Because in addition to stealth, the B-2 Spirit is a highly capable asset made to carry out missions deep in hostile territory. First up, let's talk everyone's favorite, payload. It can carry 20 tons of bombs. Basically, imagine squeezing 10 sedans into its belly. And we're not talking about just conventional bombs here. The B-2 is part of America's nuclear deterrent strategy. For your everyday, non-apocalyptic missions, the B-2 can carry up to 80 500-pound GPS-guided bombs.
okay.
That's precision strikes on 80 different targets in one single sortie. Or if you're feeling a little bit more ambitious, let's say, it can deploy specialized weapons, like the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. At 15 tons, this bunker buster is basically a small building.
But it can carry this bomb.
I don't understand much about weapons, but wow.
Yeah, this is a crazy weapon. Yeah, I mean, how the hell is that even possible? You know, this one can you can put an atomic bomb on this one. You know, this the B-2 bomber can go nuclear if it's necessary. You know?
That you can drop on other buildings. Kind of like the Air Force's way of saying, we don't care how deep you dig, we can still reach you. But here's where things get really impressive. The B-2's range. On a single tank of gas, this thing can fly over 11,000 kilometers. That's like flying from New York to Moscow and still having enough fuel left to circle the Red Square a few times. And with
New York to Moscow without what? Oh my god! Without they don't need to refuel at all.
aerial
This is a
refueling,
beast.
This is a beast, yeah.
Definitely.
range is basically anywhere on Earth. It's the kind of plane that can show up uninvited to a party halfway around the world and still leave before anyone notices. Now, you
Yeah.
might be thinking, sure, it can go far, but is it fast? Well, at high altitudes, the B-2 cruises at about 901 kilometers per hour. That's not breaking any speed records, but remember, this is a bomber, not a...
Yeah, this is very fun.
This shows that Americans have brilliant minds.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
but this is in terms if you love,
is unbelievable.
you need the best engineers for this,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
fighter jet. It's more about the slow, silent approach than the flashy flyby. Plus, it can reach altitudes of 50,000 feet. That's almost higher than Mount Everest times 2. It's operated by a crew of 2, a pilot and a mission commander. And these folks aren't just flying. They're managing a suite of state-of-the-art avionics and mission planning systems that are so advanced they're in a league of their own. And get this, if GPS goes down, the B-2 can navigate using the stars. The B-2 can operate in
Using the stars?
Okay, they are making stuff up at this point. At this point, this is becoming too absurd.
all weather conditions, day or night. Its advanced radar system, which has been very controversial, allows it to perform terrain forming and terrain avoidance maneuvers automatically. But how much does it cost to have this kind of bomber in your
Billions.
Each B-2 costs about $2 billion per aircraft, which is more than the entire GDP of some small countries. That's billion with a B. To put that in perspective,
That's
you could buy
why it is
about
impossible
Yeah.
to win
To win, I guess.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have the great economy.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
also, I guess.
Yeah.
They have the expression, this is why we don't have free healthcare.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, this amount of
This
money
is why.
is absurd.
Yeah.
5,000 average American homes for the price of one B-2. So why is it so expensive? Well, it's a perfect storm of costly factors. For starters, the technology is cutting edge. We're talking materials and systems that probably won't be declassified until our grandkids are old enough to vote. Then there's the exclusivity factor. Only 21 have ever been built. Maintenance is another
21,
budget buster.
okay.
That radar-absorbing skin, well, it needs to be reapplied regularly.
I mean, only 21. Oof, that's a lot of them. What the hell is this guy talking?
And let's not forget about the constant upgrades. The B-2 of today is far more advanced than the one that rolled out back in the 80s. It somehow managed to age forward, getting younger and more capable. But is it worth it? Well, that's the multi-billion-dollar question. Supporters argue that the B-2's unique capabilities justify the cost. After all, how do you put a price tag on the ability to strike anywhere on the Earth without being detected?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
it's worth it.
But even stealth aircraft can't hide from aging. The Air Force is already eyeing its replacement, the B-21 Raider. The next
Okay, but I was aware of this, to be honest. But I don't think he's as good as the B2.
Really?
I think he's just kind of does the same thing and is less expensive to build. But
Okay.
the B2 will still be a good one to have. You know, it's not kind of like the F-35 is a bit more advanced than the F-22 in certain things, but is not better. I think this
Okay.
is kind of the same logic. It's a kind of like a cheap alternative. You know what I mean?
Okay.
evolution of stealth technology. The B-21 Raider is to play multiple roles as an intercontinental strategic bomber and intelligence collection hub, hooked up to a larger network to make it the first 6th-generation aircraft of its kind. It's meant to be smaller, more affordable, and easier to maintain than its predecessor, which would allow manufacturers
But I really wonder if he's better, because I'm not sure about what I said. I don't think it is, but could be wrong.
a much larger fleet. So, what do you think about the B-2 bomber? And would you like to learn more about the new advanced B-21 Raider? Let us know your thoughts
Yeah,
in the
we can
comments
watch that.
down below. And if you love learning about projects that push the limits of technology, make sure that you're subscribed to Megabuilds. As always, thank you so much for watching.
Okay, my friends, show him all the support. Yeah, I told you this would
this
be
is
crazy.
crazy, yeah.
The B2 bomber is really absurd. Sarah, say goodbye to our friends.
Bye, guys.
Bye, my friends.